Hello, good morning. Welcome to the American Business Podcast. I'm Kevin Deveci, your host. Welcome to the podcast, and we are excited to be with you today. Today's number is 1.4 billion. An average of 1.4 billion social media accounts are hacked per day, per month. So cybersecurity is important. It's an important subject. Speaking of cybersecurity, we have a great guest today from TechWorks Consultant. Let's welcome Chris.
How you
Hello,
doing,
Chris.
Kevin?
Welcome to the podcast.
Oh, happy to be here. How you doing?
Good. Thank you very much. How are you? How is your week going so far?
Oh, it's been crazy. It's a great week. We had a big trade show over here, so that was fun. Lots of events going on, so it's nice to be out and about. So busy, but really good.
Yes, I was also happy to see you yesterday during the trade show. It was a great trade show, and I'm glad we had a chance to be there and make some connections with the business community.
Yeah, I mean, for our area, Long Island, it's the biggest trade show that we get out here. So see 4 or 5 thousand business owners all together.
Yes.
Mingling and sharing. Sharing business contacts. It's just a wonderful day. So it's great. I love to be there.
Well, yeah, it was great, and thank you so much for being with us in your busy schedule. As a start, would you please introduce yourself and your company to our audience?
Sure. So I'm Chris Coluccio. I'm the CEO of TechWorks Consulting. We're a outsourced IT provider for small and medium-sized businesses. We've been around for 23 years. We've been doing this for a long time. We focus mostly in the New York metro area, specifically Long Island, although we've done this all over the globe. So our goal is to really be your outsourced IT arm and to support you, whether it be day-to-day help desk services or with infrastructure or IT needs, because we really feel that a lot of businesses kind of suffer from having that one IT person or somebody who's been with them for a long time, and although they usually do good work, they can't do everything for them. So I apologize because I didn't mute my phone. So my apologies. I'll mute that right now and we'll get back online. So
All
I
right, sounds good.
apologize for that. I didn't mute my phone before this event. But yeah, that's what TechWorks does. We support a lot of our businesses that are in the manufacturing and nonprofit space, large nonprofits, helping them get their day-to-day work done. So yeah, that's what TechWorks does.
Well, sounds great. How about yourself? How did you start your career?
So it's kind of weird. I was actually an engineering major in in back in Northeastern University. So I went to Northeastern University and they had a co-op program. So that co-op program, I was working with as a civil engineering consultant, and I was working with these big large corporations doing things like the Big Dig in Boston. So the co-op means that they put you inside other businesses as part of your training, when you as part of your schooling. So I was working on the Big Dig in Boston for a company, and then I came down to Long Island. I started working for a company, and every time I was working with those companies, I kept taking care of their computers for them. So as I was working down here, at one point in time, one of the gentlemen that was working with me said, you're always working on computers. You probably should go back to school for computer science or do some computer work. And I was like, well, that sounds like a good idea. I'll do that. And then, so I did that. I went back, I left Northeastern. I went down to a local college here called Dowling and took my computer science degree. And as I was doing that, I started working on people's computers. I was doing some work at their house. I was doing some of my friends' businesses. And I met a partner of mine at the time who was also at the same school. And we sat down in McDonald's one day and we said, we should start a company and fix people's computers. And that's kind of how TechWorks was born. So yeah, it was that's really how I started my career. It kind of happened accidentally. I mean, I've always been one that's tinkered around with computers and stuff like that. Even when I was at a young age, I just loved the stuff. I programmed my first language in BASIC when I was in first grade at a computer camp. So yeah, so it's been a long time coming, but it also kind of happened by happenstance,
Yes, absolutely. These are really exciting memories, and I'm glad that our audience they have a chance to listen to you. Can you please tell us more about your work? What are the exciting parts and challenging parts of your work in your on daily basis and in general?
The challenging parts about this business is that, when you do IT, especially the way we do it, we always say if nothing's going on, the customers go, why am I paying you? Right. And then when everything's going on and things are crazy or stuff isn't working, they go, why are we paying you? Right. So that's the problem with IT. And a lot of businesses, it's changed over the years, but a lot of businesses for a long period of time saw computers and IT budgets as something that should be zero. Right. And every dollar that they spent on that was a cost. Every dollar that they spent on that was a cost that, they didn't have to deal with. So sorry, I apologize. That's challenging all the time, is to get businesses to understand how, they can see technology as a return on investment, and how they can use that technology to better their organization. So that's what I love to do, is that part of it that keeps businesses up and running and using their IT to make their businesses better and to really give them a return on investment, and to see the way that all these different businesses function, be able to add that to, what we do on a regular basis.
I like to shift our conversation towards cybersecurity, if that's okay. So
Sure.
it's an important subject for businesses. I just mentioned 1.4 billion on average social media accounts are being hacked, and there are many more statistics that we pull about businesses, ransomware, hacking, and so on. So nowadays, what are the trends for the cybersecurity in terms of practices to create a safe, secure environment as a workplace, as well as this is a follow-up question. As well as how businesses should take, what type of steps they should take to create a secure environment that's possible for their data, for businesses especially.
There's really two things that are driving the cybersecurity inside businesses right now. The first is the hacks, right? There's a lot of ransomware. There's a lot of attacks going on. There's a lot of social engineering going on. Certainly with the introduction of AI has made it even better. So businesses are starting to, that normally wouldn't think that they were targets, are starting to get hacked, or their friends' businesses are getting hacked. So you have that, and then you really have the insurance industry and compliance industries on the other side that are forcing these businesses to take their cybersecurity seriously, because they can't get cybersecurity policies. Or if you're in the manufacturing world, specifically with Department of Defense, you have new regulations called CMMC or HIPAA for the healthcare industry. So those are starting to be taken seriously. And that's really what's driving the change in cybersecurity. So it's really these two things. You're getting a lot of people who have kind of pushed off their cybersecurity, not paying attention to it, didn't think that they were involved. And now all of a sudden we have to put two-factor authentication on everything. And we have to start really securing up these businesses. And on the other side, their industries are pressuring them to start really take that seriously and start to meet the compliances that they need. And in some cases, in some industries, you can't even play unless you're going to that, to a more secure model. So, it's a differentiator now for businesses to have cybersecurity. They're starting to see that, or they can't even sell that stuff. So it's a detriment if they don't. So that's really what's driving the push towards cybersecurity. All of these hacks that we're hearing about, and all of the industries that are saying we got to start taking it seriously.
Especially it's a challenge for small businesses practicing the best in class cybersecurity practices and so on. Do you have any suggestion for small businesses how they can protect their data?
Well, protecting their data is kind of a very large term. We try to use the NIST framework as where we start, but you really, the best way that you can do this, the problem is when you say protect your data, everybody's got data in different spots, right? And everybody uses data differently. And they could be two of the same businesses using different applications, whether they're using a local network attached storage device, or a big server, or or Azure, or SharePoint, or those kind of things. So the best thing that we tell over all of our businesses is to get some kind of an assessment done first, right? You need to know what you don't know. And you need to know what your IT person might not know, or what they might not be telling you. So the only way to really go about really protecting your data, certainly, if you don't have two-factor authentication on your emails, That's probably the number one threat. If you're using Office 365 or Google or any of the other email systems, multi-factor authentication is the first level of defense. But beyond that, when we talk about protecting your data, you really got to have somebody come in and take a look and say, okay, what's our threat? Like, where is our stuff? We have clients that are like, oh, we're really protected. We use Dropbox, so we got a backup. And it's like, yeah, okay. So, I walked in, I tell a story all the time. I walked into this large manufacturer, probably around $30-40 million manufacturer, not huge, but for Long Island, a good sized manufacturer. And they thought that they were safe with their backups, but their backups were really, their IT guy was taking the hard drives out of the machine, cloning the hard drives, and then putting it back in the computer. And that was safe because, it wasn't online, it wasn't anything else. But then he was just leaving the hard drives in a cabinet somewhere so that they unencrypted hard drives. So, you really got to get an idea of what standard you want to meet and whether or not you're even close to that standard. So we in TechWorks, we come in and we'll do an audit on that organization, not only for whether or not they are, they have a lot of data issues, or if they're really, what their operational impact is, but whether or not management is even ready to take on that kind of task, or if they're what's holding it back too. Because a lot of the cybersecurity concerns and things that we see is not necessarily just the people, but the management staff that have been around for a long time, and they don't necessarily see the need to change.
Let's talk about AI a little bit. So when we talk about AI, it's a popular subject. We also see it in our own podcasts, right? We see the views in terms of the interest of our audience. So anytime that we talk about AI or we share education content about AI, we have really high views on our YouTube channel. So I like to talk about it a little bit with you and get your viewpoint. So we all use AI nowadays in some form as an individual or as a business. So where do you think it's going? How it's going to keep affecting businesses? And do you think AI will replace jobs?
Well, I mean, to take your last question, will AI replace jobs? Yes, it will definitely replace jobs. Will it create new jobs? Yes, it will definitely create new jobs too. We're seeing that already. I mean, we have even in our building, we have a new group of people that all they do is help businesses use AI to make better processes and procedures. So new jobs are coming up from AI, new opportunities are coming up, and the problem is that most businesses see AI right now as something like a chat GPT, where they use it to maybe write an email, better communicate with their clients, send out some sales material, things like that. And that's great. They have to understand that the detriment to using something like a chat GPT with their information and making it public. But realistically, the real power in AI are the agent side, the things that are going to automate processes for businesses that are very tedious or take a lot of people a lot of time, or using that kind of concept of your data, like we were talking about before. Go out across your organization and find the data that might be most vulnerable to being hacked or to having information that you didn't really know was in that data. And so you can create these agents and software applications very quickly that could do those things for you inside your business using AI and deliver that back to you, so you can be more competitive. You can understand what your threat level is. So having this concept of having these agents or these kind of AI workers is probably going to be the biggest concept that we see moving forward. So it's it has like the internet and like all this other stuff. It's going to take some jobs away. And it's going to create some new jobs, and we're going to, no matter what, we're going to have to deal with that.
Yes, well, these are really important insights. Thank you for sharing. Well, let's talk about your role models a little bit. You have decades of experience, Chris, in terms of technology. And I like to, see, have you had any role models? Do you have any role models that you can share with our audience?
Well, I mean, besides my parents, who was great role models for me. I mean, I have a father who was a businessman and worked at 7-Up for a long time, and then lost his job late in life, and then still supported my family. And that's kind of what I'm looking for from a role model standpoint, to have somebody like that who is just that kind of resilience. Is always something that I look up to. On the business side, I'm always looking at the business people that really, are looking to do the right things for the world, the community, and that kind of stuff, and trying to look at people that have their first principles. So I probably have too many role models to say, but I'm always looking for, those kind of people that, in our industry, there's a few people that I've always looked up to. There's a gentleman, his name's, he started the company ConnectWise. His name's Arnie. And, he was this person that took a small business and, made and created an entire industry around it. And while he was doing that, was certainly giving back to our community, giving back to his community, and just was a really great representative for just the way businesses should be run and how you should treat your employees. So that's kind of always what I'm looking for from role models and that kind of stuff. Yeah. So.
In your career journey of decades, have you had any lessons learned that you can share with us?
Well, one of the lessons we were thinking about this is, everybody says do a job that you love and it'll never be work. And I don't believe that, right? I don't think that. I've done a job. I love what I do. I love this industry, the work that I'm doing, the people that I'm with, but it's still a lot of work, and that's not a bad thing, right? So if you think about it, if you're putting your labors and your efforts into something you love, it can still be a lot of work. It can be hard sometimes. I mean, running a business, I'm sure other people, if you're running a business, there are days when you don't know if you made the right decisions, or, if the whole thing's going to go away. I had to buy a partner out. It's tough things that go on. But you just got to enjoy the ride, and you set your kind of core values and your principles, and follow those. And if you keep doing that and you understand why you do the things you do, then the work is still work, but it's enjoyable, and you can see an outcome in the future, and you can be flexible to that stuff too.
Outside of work, what are your biggest passions?
So, we've been friends for a long time, and that I unfortunately lost a son to suicide, and have started a foundation in his name. So it's the Christopher A. Coluccio Foundation, and I spent a lot of time in our community trying to fix some of the issues that I saw in the community when it came to teens and suicide, and the way that the schools and the great organizations just didn't work together with each other, or weren't very good at highlighting their resources and getting people to the right places. So I spent a lot of time with that. I also run a group called the MacArthur Business Alliance, which is an area around the MacArthur Airport that supports the 10,000 or so businesses that are in that area. And we run a lot of events for them, and we work on economic impact studies for the area, and really try to give that area some of the love that it deserves. So I spend a lot of time doing those two things too. On top of that, a lot of it's during the summer. It's summertime here on Long Island, and if you live on the South Shore, you're probably a boater. So I'll be doing a lot of boating and that. But again, I think from my standpoint, I don't really have a huge separation between my business and my life and all these different things. I try to weave them together in something that works well. That includes my family with that, and includes my friends, and getting everybody involved, so that no matter what I'm doing, it feels like it's just the right part of my life.
You just mentioned about MacArthur alliances, actually, a business alliance, to be more precise.
Yeah.
So would you please tell us a little bit more about the MacArthur Business Alliance?
So the MacArthur Business Alliance has been around for 30 years, and on Long Island, we have these pocketed industrial areas, and one of them is this area that's right around MacArthur Airport that we're doing a study on. We've learned that there's about 10,000 businesses in this 5-mile radius, very dense area, but it doesn't get kind of all the credit. And when we're looking at it, we're talking about sizes that are equal to areas like Silicon Valley that probably produce almost as much revenue as those areas do, and as many jobs, but get no kind of love for that. So that's what we're doing with that area. The MacArthur Business Alliance is bringing together those businesses that normally wouldn't communicate, that kind of live in their own world. We live a lot of manufacturing in the area, Department of Defense. We're trying to get them together to have a singular voice, so that we can communicate, to our local politicians and to our local business groups, and kind of break down the different barriers that are going on between all those different groups. And along doing that, we host a lot of events for our people. One of these big events that's coming up is the event called Hangar Fest, where we will actually invite people into one of the hangars on our airport that's over here. So if you don't know Islip MacArthur Airport, it's actually the largest publicly owned airport. So which means it's publicly owned and run by the town of Islip here, which is very unusual. And we'll invite everybody down to one of the hangars, and we'll have a lot of local music. Local bands that are playing original music. Long Island's got a great music scene. We'll have a lot of local breweries. Our area has been a kind of a pop-up for breweries and distilleries. So they'll come down, and all of those great local eateries in the area will come down. So we'll have food. The airplanes, music, cars, Ferrari and Maserati Club are coming down to support us. So
I heard about the cars too. Yes.
Yeah, it's a great event. We pulled it off last year. We're doing our second one this year. I actually have our little passport here for which gets you in. So
what is the date?
Great. So that date is June 12th. So okay. It's Thursday, June 12th at the Islip MacArthur Airport Liberty Jet Hangar. We have great sponsors, Jam2. It's a great event. We really are trying to do something different. We have a great trade show that we were at yesterday, and we could never reproduce something like that. But we said, hey, let's try to do something that's a little different, that really celebrates a great airport in our area that has been growing. We had a great press conference with them yesterday because they're looking to do a ton of construction in this area. So, realistically, and some of it's a little selfish because I built my business in this area because I knew Ronkonkoma, the area that we live in, this area around the airport, was the fastest growing area on Long Island. And I wanted to be a part of that. So all these things that I do for MacArthur Business Alliance, they do help out TechWorks as a business too. But that's kind of where I tell everybody, if you find something that, you can be passionate about that also supports your business and your lifestyle, then that's when it's still hard. We do a lot of work, and it's a lot of nights and a lot of extra stuff that you have to do, but it just feels right,
Absolutely. And I also witnessed the hard work your team also put in. Also, I had the opportunity to join the Hangar Fest last year. It was great. I mean, I was really happy to be there.
Yeah, we're gonna have a wonderful band called Miles to Dayton this year, which is one of my favorite bands that plays on Long Island. Signed band, you can find them on Spotify. They're awesome. It's a great day. We'll have again, we get to mix the music industry, the food industry, the politicians, the business owners, and again our airport. It's a great mix and just you can't not have fun at this event.
Absolutely. I'm also planning to be there this year, so definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Yeah, we're happy to have you. So
thank you so much. Well, one of our missions of our podcast is to share educational, informative content with the next generation as well as today's generation. Having said that, I like to actually get your advice, career advice for the next generation, for those who are thinking about getting into technology, perhaps cybersecurity. What type of career advice would you like to share with them?
Well, again, I mean, my career advice is, I tell everybody, I was like, people they think that they have to go through the normal channels to get an education in our industry. And, from my standpoint, we're just looking for people that are passionate about what they're doing and are educating themselves on their own. So we have a lot of people that come out of colleges and high schools, and that's great. And I'm not telling anybody not to do, not to go to college or do anything like that. But we are actually looking for the people that even if they go to college and even if they're getting a cybersecurity degree, or even if they're, going into computer science, that they're passionate about doing it on the side too. So we ask those people, like, what do you do in your spare time? And if they're like, hey, I'm also running a network, or I'm part of a business group, or I'm part of, some of the other parts of my community, then those are the people that we gravitate towards because we know that they have a passion for doing this already. So I give an advice is to, like, if you really love what you're doing, then just do it and go get your own training too. Don't expect that just a business like myself or the schools are going to get you all the training that you need. I use a website called Udemy. It's like $10 to get classes that you would pay thousands of dollars for at a college. And I get some of the best trainings in the world through that. So definitely do that. And my second advice to everybody is join your local business groups or there's computer clubs, there's local technology clubs. get out there and be a part of those communities, because people like me, when we have young kids come up that are passionate about this industry, we want to help them succeed. We want them to, we want to show them how they can move forward and where it's at. So I tell everybody, like, and I know a lot of kids aren't used to that. Get out of your own, just the college that you hang out with or just the local group, and go to some of these business groups. Come to an event like Hangar Fest, even if it costs you money. I met a guy who was a billionaire who worked, who was at one of the events that I was at, and I was asking him what he did to get started. And he said, I had a choice when I was younger. I had $10,000 in my pocket, and I could spend that $10,000 on buying myself a new car, or I took that $10,000 and he joined something called the Friars Club. And that was what made all the difference to him, because he used that to better himself in his career and to surround himself with great other business owners who helped him. And he turned that $10,000 into billions of dollars, because he decided not to go out and buy that new car that he wanted. Now, again, the $10,000 obviously was a long time ago, but that's the kind of stuff you got to do. You got to invest in yourself. You got to spend some of your own money and your own time and volunteer and join these groups that are out there, because those people will get back to you when you do that. We'll see that passion, and people like myself are always looking for that.
To continue this conversation, how our audience can get in touch with you? What is your contact information that you'd like to share?
So you can listen. I'm wide open. You can reach me at chris@maketechwork.com. I try to answer my emails. I try to get back to anybody who's interested in talking to me. TechWorks is www.maketechwork.com. Again, chris@maketechwork.com. I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn. So happy to follow. Happy to talk to anybody who wants to. Certainly, if they're a young kid start a business or get their career moving forward, or if you're in this area, I try to make myself as available and say yes to as much as I can, because I like doing that stuff. So happy to have people reach out to me and talk about how I can help them out.
Yes, I am the witness of your activities, and I like to thank you for your service in our community and being so active. And also thank you so much for being with us today in your busy schedule, Chris.
Oh, it was a pleasure, and I apologize for a couple little hiccups, but I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much, and I wish you a great weekend.
Take care, Kev. Take care.
Thank you very much. Well, we had another informative session today. Well, that was great. We were with the CEO of TechWorks Consulting, and we talk about cybersecurity, AI, and many other popular subjects. So there are many things to talk about. The 30 minutes isn't enough with Chris, but hopefully we can have a part 2, so we can talk about many different subjects about technology in coming months. Well, you may be following our YouTube channel. We just passed 30,000 YouTube subscribers. I'd like to thank you for your support. If you haven't done so, please visit our YouTube channel and subscribe, like, put your thoughts, your comments, and join this business community. We see it as a business community. Our goal is to share informative educational content. That is why every week we stream live these educational podcasts, American Business Podcast. So thank you so much for your support. Do you have an idea? Would you like to be a guest in our podcast? You can send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. We keep an open mind. We love to hear from you. You can write us to share some ideas. What would you like us to cover? If you like to be a guest, you can write us. If you know someone who likes to be a guest in our podcast, you can also send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. Also, if you visit our website, you can see our coming schedule, americanpodcast.tv. Every week we update our website, and we also put the schedule out there, so you can see our coming schedule, coming guests, and what type of subjects we will cover. So we definitely welcome you to visit our podcast. Also, we have a new sponsor, IPVanish VPN. I also use it myself, so I highly recommend it. You can go to the link that I'm sharing on the screen, affiliate.ipvanish.com, and you can get information. If you like it, you can subscribe. That's something that we use, and we also promote. Also, if you like to be a sponsor, if you like to advertise in our podcast, you can also send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. Well, I'd like to thank you for your time, and thank you for your interest. Looking forward to seeing you at our coming American Business Podcast episode. Thank you very much.